Why does it seem like the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest? Why do their words echo, their silence ache, and their absence leave a void long after they're gone? It's not just sensitivity or being too trusting. What we're facing runs deeper into the layers of the unconscious. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and one of the great thinkers on the human psyche, suggested that our suffering doesn't just come from what others do to us, but from what we haven't yet discovered in ourselves. He famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Fate, in this sense, is not destiny. It's a pattern, a loop of emotional pain that feels personal, but is often the reflection of hidden parts of ourselves. Pain is projection. When someone criticizes you, ignores you, lashes out, your instinct might be to think, "What did I do wrong?" But pause. Consider this. What if most of the pain we experience in relationships has little to do with us and everything to do with the other person's inability to confront their own inner conflict? Jung called this projection, the unconscious act of transferring one's own denied feelings, fears, and flaws onto others. When someone calls you selfish for setting a boundary, perhaps they are afraid of losing control. When they mock your confidence, maybe they are repressing their own potential. We think we're seeing ourselves through others' reactions, but in reality, we're seeing their shadows, parts of themselves they've disowned, now projected onto you. Why it feels so personal. Even if you understand this intellectually, it still hurts. Why? Because inside you, inside all of us, there's an inner version of ourselves shaped by early emotional experiences. Not necessarily a younger you in age, but a vulnerable one. This part of you still believes that rejection means you've been forgotten, that love must be earned through self-sacrifice or perfection. Jung called this the inner child, the repository of unmet needs, old wounds, and unprocessed emotional memory. And it's this inner child that responds when you spiral after criticism, when you fear abandonment, or when simple moments trigger overwhelming feelings. Most people are not reacting to the present. They're reliving the past. They are not responding to reality. They're interpreting it through a lens of unresolved pain. Healing begins with awareness. So how do we escape this cycle? Not by cutting people off or becoming emotionally numb, but by becoming conscious. Jung believed true healing begins when we stop asking the world to love us properly and instead begin nurturing the parts of ourselves we've long ignored. The goal is not to stop feeling pain, but to stop misidentifying its source. Because once you understand that your reaction is not about this moment, you gain the power to respond instead of react. You stop letting others define you. You stop handing them the script to your self-worth. That's the beginning of emotional sovereignty, from fragile to unshakable. Imagine this: someone calls you a failure, but you've already made peace with failure as a natural part of growth. Do their words still hold power? Or someone pulls away emotionally, but you no longer equate love with presence. Do you still break? This is not emotional invincibility, this is integration. It's what Jung called individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, of unifying your conscious and unconscious self. It's not about becoming harder, it's about becoming more yourself. So complete in your inner truth that rejection loses its sting and praise no longer defines your worth. The turning point. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you felt truly centered, untouched by the noise around you? That version of you isn't imaginary. It's buried beneath years of conditioning, fear, and external validation seeking. And the more you peel back those layers, the more you realize your worth was never up for negotiation. You were whole all along. Most of us spend our lives trying to earn love, prove value, and avoid pain. But the irony is that real peace comes not from striving, but from stillness, from facing the parts of us we've tried to hide and learning to hold them without judgment. When you can sit with your anger without being consumed by it, when you can notice your fear without letting it lead you, when you can recognize your old wounds without using them as armor, then you're no longer controlled by them. You're aware, and in awareness, there's freedom. Pain is a messenger. Jung didn't promise a life without difficulty, but he offered us something more profound, the ability to face life with clarity. Pain in this light is not punishment, it's a message. It's the unconscious trying to make itself known. It's a chance to stop repeating the same stories and to choose something different. So, the next time someone hurts you, pause. Ask not, why did they do this to me? But, what part of me is reacting to this and why? Trace the feeling, find its origin, and instead of trying to fix it externally, meet it with your presence. Becoming whole. To be whole is not to be perfect, it is to be integrated, to no longer outsource your identity to others' opinions, to no longer let the past dictate your self-concept. When you reach this place, you don't need to be understood to feel secure. You don't need approval to feel valuable. You don't need closure from others to feel complete. The people who once hurt you no longer have power over you, not because they changed, but because you did. You reclaimed what was always yours, your attention, your awareness, your self-respect. This is not a destination, it's a practice, a way of walking through life, conscious, present, and internally anchored. So, I'll leave you with this. What part of yourself have you been giving away just to feel accepted? And more importantly, are you ready to take it back? If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's one belief about yourself that you're ready to release? And don't forget to share this with someone else who's been carrying wounds that don't belong to them. You are not broken. You're becoming.